February 2nd, 2021. Braun Strowman, just another victim to Bobby Lashley tonight. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan, Raj Giri. Great for Bobby tonight. Looking like $1 million, looking like a monster. But Braun Strowman, what's up with this? Where's this going? Coming back tonight, cutting that promo, going in that match, but man, where's he go from here?
If you're not doing anything with him, honestly, I like protecting Braun normally, but this made Bobby, you said that you just got done saying it. It made Bobby look like a monster, and it did.
Yeah, there's not many other people on the roster that Bobby could have beat that would have meant as much. But
Yeah.
by looking dominant with Braun, and Braun's not going to be in a world title match at WrestleMania. It's
Right.
kind of looking like Shane. So yeah, you build Lashley, and they had that feud before Braun beat Lashley on the pay-per-view matches they had. So it kind of gives him that win and gives him that steam because they want him to be that guy, in that WrestleMania main event.
Yeah, this was smart. This was actually, I thought this was good booking, if I'm being honest. I was pissed because I wanted to see Lashley win the title tonight, but
Yeah.
this was good.
Yeah, I like how they did it too because not only did they had a match for tonight that had stakes, and it built to a title match next week. So you kind of did
Right.
two different things. You kept the story going as opposed to ending it right away.
What would you do, Raj, if it turns out Miz goes over on Bobby? What would you do?
That's a lot of people are picking that Drew interferes next week.
Really?
And maybe not that the Miz beats Lashley, but it's a DQ, and then maybe they do another match at Fastlane. But if Miz beat Lashley, oh God.
Miz has got to weasel out of this some way, right? There's no way with the way Bobby looked tonight and looked in that ring, you get the two of them in the ring, and Miz even lasts 30 seconds.
Shouldn't.
No, he shouldn't. Lashley should kill him. I mean, I know some people are saying Bad Bunny interferes. No, Lashley should not need Bad Bunny to interfere to beat The Miz. So.
Oh my God! Excuse my French, but fuck Bad Bunny.
Wow.
Whoa.
Pirate shots.
Dude, like, did you watch the Garza match? Like, Garza was like staring at him in the middle of the heat against Priest. Like, why? Jay-Z could be out there for all I care. That's a rap star I'm impressed with, right? I wouldn't stop kicking somebody's ass to stare and gawk at him. It was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially tonight, I thought we started off really hot with The Miz coming out with John Morrison. I mean, The Miz looks like champion material. It's amazing. Something snapped for me last night when he got that belt.
He always does because he knows how to be a champion. He knows how to talk like one. He knows how to act like one, and he's fantastic. Let's be clear, but not right now. It's not his time.
Yeah, I mean, I pointed this out on Twitter last night. The Miz has won one singles match in the last 365 days, and that was against Otis when he won the Money in the Bank contract before beating Drew. So it's one thing if. I know it's sports entertainment and whatever, but the title is still supposed to mean something. So at least if you're putting the title on someone, give them some wins for a while, or at least have them 70-30.
That's why this is so transparent.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it.
But it can't be that transparent, though, right? They have
yes,
to have.
Yes, it is. When it's Bobby Lashley waiting in the wings, and we've been waiting forever for this. Yes, it is.
I mean, we've already seen the angle for Drew and Lashley, so I mean, and we've already seen the angle for Miz and Bad Bunny and Damien Priest. It's clear that's where they're going. So,
yeah, it's good though. So they set it up tonight. They set up what was going to happen. Bobby made a deal with the Miz, or Miz made a deal with MVP. Give Bobby that title shot. Miz wants to take his sweet time. Bobby issues an ultimatum, and we get a countdown clock.
That was awesome. Loved that. Stakes, right? There were stakes.
Yeah. Tonight's Raw felt more fresh than usual. Outside of the Lucha House Party match and the Retribution stuff. Outside of those two angles and the Papa Shango stuff with Randy Orton, it felt pretty fresh.
Yeah, I mean,
what's his name? Shane coming out added to it tonight. It didn't take away. It actually added to it. I thought. Great way to kick it off too.
And the way him and Braun were interacting, it didn't feel forced. It felt like Shane was really irritated with them and, not taking his crap.
Well, no, Braun not taking his crap. Braun just big dogged him right away. Like, immediately when he wasn't getting what he wanted, which he should. He's a giant. That's exactly how he should act.
He's a little whiny now. But,
yeah, it's weird with Braun. I feel like they've failed him. And
of course they failed him. He was due for the championship versus Brock Lesnar at the peak of his height and popularity, and everything was gangbusters for him. And they screwed the pooch. They did not pull the trigger on it. They should have.
How many years ago was it when he cleaned house in that elimination chamber, ran through
Yes.
like everyone until Roman at the end? I was like 4 years ago.
I go back to the 4-way. I wanted Joe to win it, but it was like Joe, Roman,
Brock and Braun.
Like that's a hell of a 4-way. And Braun stole the show in that, if you remember.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He put Brock to a damn table. Wasn't scared or intimidated. It was the first time somebody really put wood on Brock at the time. And I was like, all right, here it is. Here's the time. Pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that Raj loved about tonight, Matt Riddle named the eagle on his championship belt Travis. Raj, you pop for that?
Who's Travis Eagle? I'm forgetting right now.
Say, you're talking about Fresh Night Show, and I'm like, I'm not seeing it yet. Yeah, Matt Riddle.
Can I just say I did? Okay, I'm embarrassed, maybe I should be embarrassed, but I did pop for that just for the name itself, Travis. It's like my wife. So my wife always screws up our friends' dogs' names, right? And so we were here talking. I don't know why we're talking about one of our friends' dogs, and she's like, "Oh yeah," she's like, "Gus is so adorable." I go, "You think their dog's name is freaking Gus?" I go, "Babe, there's not a dog on God's green earth that anyone's ever named Gus. I assure you this." And it's just like a weird name like that. I don't know. I pop for Travis.
Gus is the name of my mother-in-law's dog. So
no way.
Wow.
Are you just saying that?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. Like legit on the nose, Gus.
If any of you send this show to my wife's social media, I will come to your house and I will. No, I'm joking. This is like an ongoing bet that there's never been a dog named Gus.
That's like an older person's name. It's like like having a cat named Sammy. Like that's something that you have to be above a certain age to have done that, to have that.
Gus.
Yeah. All right. No, I mean, the Matt Riddle thing, hanging out with the Lucha House Party, and this is what I'm talking about, though, with Bobby. Bobby was just in this feud. Like, talk about night and day difference, best week ever. Bobby escaping Matt Riddle to go to the main championship in WWE is a night and day turnaround.
Bobby Lashley is a very patient man, much more patient than I am. If I had his skill set, his look, and everything like that, I would have quit. I would have quit about a year and a half. I'd give it 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I don't think he's won a WrestleMania match since Umaga. That's how far back we're going.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Matt Velasquez, $4.99, saying, I think I just heard Matt challenge Bad Bunny to a match at WrestleMania. LOL.
Ugh.
The kids with their Bad Bunny. Stellar Justin Lopez, $10, saying, I've never been more behind Lashley until now. He needs to go over next week, no BS. I know Drew's probably winning at Mania, but Lashley should go over and be booked like a monster until he faces Brock.
Duh. What do you mean until now? Like, Bobby's not added some, like, new skill set all of a sudden. Bobby's been ready since he was on Impact, showed the other side of him, I will argue. He came back to WWE. He's been ready ever since then.
Yeah, it was just letting them put him in that position, and finally
he can't control that. He can't take a pen to the script and say, "Hey, book me as champion."
Right.
But that's why I give him credit. Honestly, I would not have had the patience if I was him to ride this out this long.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Antonio Garcia, $5, saying after destroying Braun, Lashley needs to stay undefeated till Mania 38.
Oh.
I don't hate that.
I mean, it depends what you got, but I don't see WWE having the patience with that.
No, they won't do that. I think you're correct. They want to give Drew this victory for the fans. I think you're correct with that.
Yeah.
I think that's risky, though. I mean, I think they'll cheer for anything. Look, I'll go see anyone in concert.
Right?
When I get a chance, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
I will cheer who you want me to just to be back.
Just get out of the house. Seriously. But no, I think I don't know. I think they're overestimating though Drew's appeal because with Bobby this intensity, I'm more on board with this than I have been with Drew the last year.
Dude, did you see when he took what's his name, Braun's leg out just to stare? Stare down the whole way walking up the ramp. I'm like, he's such a badass.
And then with MVP with him, it's like that Brock Heyman dynamic, except Lashley actually cuts promos. Like he actually talks too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really like it. And again, I don't think it's ending at WrestleMania. It's you know how these feuds go. They'll go on for months after. And if Lashley still has steam, they could always put the title back on him.
Here's the thing, Raj, is that like this is what we talk about when fans get all like, I'm not gonna say cry, baby, but get all like, upset when I talk about, and you do too, about talent looking the part and being believable and not being some 185-pound cruiserweight that none of you would ever be scared of in a dark alley. None of you would be scared to fight that. Okay? Bobby Lashley, with him talking down to Miz at the end of that segment, right. I believed every word he said.
Yeah.
I'm like, and so did Miz, more importantly.
You could feel, you could put yourself in Miz's shoes right there.
Like he gave the champion a legitimate ultimatum. Yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I did like this a lot.
Yeah.
I think it just shows, I just think Drew was such a bland champ. Like the Miz and Bobby.
I think we all don't want to say that or admit it because it's not really his fault because of the pandemic. I still think he would have been much more over if he was on his, get ready folks, crescendo of his push from was it Royal Rumble on. The fans were behind him.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit and he got screwed over big time. I think the fans would have been with him. I think they would have been eventually stale of him though, if I'm being honest. A year later, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, he's the only guy that he has not had a day in front of fans as champion. I mean, real fans, not when they had the 30 fans at the Performance Center.
It's not his fault, but the Miz though got so much flavor. Bobby has so much flavor, and Drew just seems bland.
Yeah. I don't disagree with him. He's saying that because I don't think he got a fair opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
And I think a lot of this is just how WWE books baby faces. I mean, I feel like we keep saying that baby face after baby. We were saying this about Roman, and now it's complete opposite. Now that Roman's a heel.
In fact, if you think about this, we've talked about this before. Vince can't book or write for baby faces because Vince is an asshole and he doesn't understand sincerity and aspiration and those Superman-like qualities, right? The Boy Scout qualities. I think Vince thinks a baby face is boring. Vince thinks that a baby face is just a bland guy who's got a hope and a dream and a twinkle in his eye.
I mean, but you go back to Hulk Hogan, dude, that's the most charismatic babyface of all time.
Different time, though.
It was a different... Like, since then, they've all had an edge to them. Like, when Cena first got over, he had that edge. Rock.
You have to have one. From Attitude Era on, yes, you have to be babyface with that edge. You're correct. I don't think Vince is sitting there right. I think the writers write this, too. It's not just him.
Yeah, but he's like the guy. He's the driving force.
He's the drainer. He's the one that, is supposed to be the final set,
But when you think about it, though, isn't so much for a good baby face. I mean, look at Daniel Bryan. You need someone that's overcoming adversity. That's the hero's journey. That's what they teach us about myth making and storytelling. Drew, Matt, I hate to say it, like, it's kind of the reason why I give you the terrible stutter gimmick. Like, what are you overcoming? What's your challenge? What's your goal? Drew's got it all. So how do you make that interesting?
Well, that's not always the case. You look at Goldberg, you look like Ed Sting, you look like, a lot of the top baby faces. As long as you got the charisma and you're interesting, you're cool. And I think that's the thing, is making them cool and not talk, this WWE speak.
I'll cancel those out right now. Sting, face paint, has a completely different look. Goldberg, it's all behind the streak. Without a streak, he's not exciting. If he's not crushing people in 15 seconds, he's not exciting to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I don't know if... Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to keep talking about it because we'll never get into the show.
We need to. Are we still on the first segment?
Well, you want to talk more about Matt Riddle versus Morrison?
No.
Okay, moving on.
Did we mention what the main event is? Because I think Shane botched that. Shane never said that next week it's going to be Lashley versus The Miz.
They said it during the show, but they, like after whatever the hell it was, but he did not say it.
Yeah, because he said if Strowman wins, then it's a 3-way next week. It's like, well, what if Lashley wins? They never, but they did say later he'd be added.
Yeah, they set it up. So Riddle beat Morrison, defending the U.S. title. Or no, it was non-title match, pardon me. And they showed that Rhea Ripley vignette twice tonight.
Yeah.
was good.
I was okay with that. I like that.
And again, back to our point earlier about booking baby faces. We saw how they booked her last year. She should come in as a heel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saw Bad Bunny on SNL backstage with Angel Garza, R-Truth, setting up stuff for later tonight. New Day versus Retribution. New Day getting the win. What'd you think, Matt?
Can I just say Retribution, if they didn't start the way they started, those two looked pretty badass, I thought. Standing behind Ali as Ali was talking. Like, I was like, if I didn't know any better, I'm just clicking through the channels and I stopped here. I'm like, damn, those two look like they can cause some damage.
I tweeted almost the exact same thing. I said, these guys look like if they get repackaged, this could be a pretty cool tag team.
Oh yeah, dude, they look the part, boy.
Yeah, like Mace has kind of a cool look, with the dreadlocks and he's a big guy and
yes,
yeah. Well, you get rid of the teabag and the Mace name, and you could have something.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, New Day got the win, right?
New Day got the win, yes. Mia Yim was back.
Mia Yim was back, yeah.
That was cool.
This was I think this is like the 6th week they've done a variation of this match.
It is. No, it is.
Yeah.
So we got some super chats, Raj. What do we got here?
Oh, here we go. Kyrian George saying, Riddle nearly killed a guy on The Ultimate Fighter a decade ago. Hate what he's doing in WWE. Wish they would just let him be the badass that he is.
I don't disagree with that. I agree.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that he's a legit
I know.
UFC, former UFC
It's so
fighter.
backwards. Wrestling, because it's a work, you guys, you're supposed to be putting these people in positions to be more believable, not less believable.
Right.
And here you have a legit badass finally, like, really kick people's ass in a real fight, and they've managed to find a way to do the opposite. Take away from him that he's a legit badass.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
There's something about it, though. I mean, because I'm thinking now about action movies, and you even look at, like, Bruce Willis in Die Hard and Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, and these guys that are going against bigger guys, but they still seem cool even when they punch the guy and he doesn't flinch or move at all. You know what I mean? Like, you could still be a badass without being the biggest, toughest-looking guy.
Oh, yeah,
You just
Stone
have to
Cold.
carry it.
Stone Cold was.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with him being taller, bigger, muscular.
No, I know.
This has
I'm
to
just
do with
saying, like,
him being stupid with what he says.
Yeah.
yeah.
It takes away from his ability to kick someone's face off, and me just be dialed in on that and focused on that. I can't just focus on that. I have to focus on after he kicks somebody's head off, saying, bro, and throwing a Shaka Brada sign at the guy. I don't want to see that crap.
His finishing move is called the Bro Derek. Kind of enough said.
Come on!
No. Enough said.
How many puka shells do you think Matt Riddle owns, Matt Morgan?
Puka shells. Because even that's corny. Like, even that, seriously. Like, oh, boy.
Kobe Time pointing out what we all heard before. Yes, he did say that with a super chat. I'm not going to repeat it. Sean Wiley, $2. Could you see Omos versus Lashley down the line?
We'll have to see how he progresses,
Who are we
Omos-
talking about? Matt Riddle?
No, Omos versus Lashley.
Ooh, that's got to be way, way down. Way down, way down.
I mean,
Almost needs to be swallowing people whole.
Yeah.
Like, for like a year straight.
You're starting to see him getting more comfortable. Like, he looked very hesitant, months ago when he'd do anything physical.
Right.
And now he's looking more and more, natural.
So this is what I try to tell people. Everyone's like, oh, big guys have it easy. You have it made. No, you don't. You're either a main event act or you're not. And that's the reason why. Because when you do just the littlest thing that's out of place, it is glaring. It's huge. It's all you'll think about and talk about.
Yeah.
And little guys can get away with it, with these little mess ups or mishaps or little moments of being uncomfortable or not convincing. A big guy that size cannot.
And you're kind of thrown into the fire quick because you get pushed quick. And if you don't impress, you get thrown down the ladder. I mean, Nathan Jones, Ezekiel Jackson, Mason Ryan. There's a who's who of guys, Heidenreich, of just big guys that because they, slipped on their face pretty early on, they just never got that opportunity again.
Chronoshaw, $2, pointing out that T-Bar's Twitter game is strong. That is all LOL. And it's true. I mean, we all recall that Macho Man had the most lit Pinterest back in the day, and that's how he got over.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere with that, actually. I was like, really? What?
So let's talk about the segment with Shane O'Mac.
Thank God Twitter wasn't around in the 80s. I would hate to see Macho Man tweeting Hulk.
Yeah.
I think Iron Sheik, though, as we've learned, would have had the best.
Oh, yeah.
If Andre tweeting Hogan, that would kill it.
Yes. No.
Does Iron Sheik, he doesn't run his own Twitter, right? Like, he's got somebody that does that for him. Yeah, there's no way. Just breaking kayfabe down one at a time. Let's talk about this promo segment. Shane O'Mac out there, and Rogers, what you said. So they set it up tonight. We were going to have Braun versus Bobby, and then next week it's going to be Bobby versus The Miz. But then, because The Miz asked for a week, but then it was going to be a triple threat if Braun had beat Lashley tonight. It was very convoluted.
But they did it in an interesting way where it almost made you assume that Braun's going to go in. You know, like it almost made you think like Braun is going to win somehow and be involved in that match.
It did throw off the predictability slightly of what I expected coming into the show. Bobby winning the title tonight. So it served its purpose.
And that's why they really sacrificed Strowman with this, because this was just a point to show that whatever you thought about Bobby before, like, this was a whole other gear tonight.
This was important, though. This is more important. It's a world title picture.
Yeah. It's a WrestleMania world title picture.
If you're going to hurt a monster, you do it with another monster at least. I'm sorry, Bobby's a monster.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So this was good, and then we followed it up with a tornado tag team match. We don't see much of those these days. Raw tag team champions, the Hurt Business versus the Lucha House Party, and Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander picking up a win.
Good, I like that, but we've seen this 1,000,009 times.
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with it. It's just over and over redundancy. And I was just thinking, if this Raw was 2 hours and you took out the redundant retribution thing, and you took out the Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton stuff, this would have been a really, really fast-moving good show if you cut that stuff out.
Yeah. Although I'm starting to think about it, guys, and I think that Matt Riddle hanging out with the Lucha House Party is really bringing the Lucha House Party down.
That could be very true, actually.
I mean, have they won a match yet?
It's true. Damien Priest versus Angel Garza. Now, Matt, walk us through your critique of this match.
Okay, so before we got on the air, Glenn, I was just not pissed off, but a little fired up because we like Garza. We all say, at least on this show, we're fans of him. We think he can be a much bigger star than how he's been presented so far. They should have kept going when his first initial push started, right? But they've stalled him. And, you know, the Thea Trinidad situation probably didn't help either. He was doing really good with that as well. But anyways, that said, you bring up Priest. Priest has main event talent written all over him. It is stamped on his head, on his chest, everywhere. He screams a WrestleMania moment waiting to happen, in my opinion. Okay? So what do? You get him in the ring with a guy who gets him on the ground, starts ground and pounding him, and then rips his pants off to expose pink trunks. And I mean, I don't know what to say here. I didn't like him selling. I didn't think he should have sold one iota in this match. He's still new up there. He's a beast. He's another one that's very authentic looking and legitimate that will kick your ass in a real fight. His offense is different for a guy his size. He's throwing spinning wheel kicks off the top rope. Are you kidding me? Guys, my ankle broke watching that, let alone me attempting it. He's just so impressive. And I just didn't think he should have been selling tonight. And I also didn't like the part where Garza sitting there overly selling for Bad Bunny, just standing there at ringside. You have this beast down that is the next big thing, quite frankly, and you're taking your attention off him to stare at what? Bad Bunny, who's sitting there with his sweet 24-hour title around his shoulder, not saying anything or doing anything, by the way.
Yeah.
Just a lot of stuff.
I agree. If Angel Garza had been featured regularly on Raw, getting wins, he's won one match, against Drew Gulak 3-4 months ago, on Raw.
They haven't booked him that way. They should be.
Yeah.
They haven't.
Exactly. So the fact that he hasn't, this should not have been competitive. Maybe get a couple hope spots, but Damien Priest with pretty one-sided win.
Dude, what'd you think of his finisher? I think
awesome.
Is pretty right.
Yeah. No, he's a future star.
How old is he? He looks old. Is he older now?
Yeah, I think he's 38.
He looks 38 in the face. Not his physique, but his face.
Let me
So-
double check that. So I'm
Are we not getting Bad Bunny versus The Miz with Priest and Morrison?
38.
Mania?
Yeah, I think that's the mini match.
Okay. A lot of stuff.
Hopefully good for Priest. Hopefully Priest gets that win, gets a not Sports Center moment, right? What would Bad Bunny get them for PR? MTV? Something like that?
I mean, Sports Center. Well, actually, ESPN has kind of blocked WWE ever since
really?
this whole Peacock deal. Yeah, they
yeah.
shut down their vertical. They don't do interviews with them anymore. So, yeah, I guess it would just be online for the most part.
Well,
Yeah. What does it even mean anymore? Has anyone ever watched the Today Show and said, maybe I should check wrestling out?
Back in the day, I used to. It did.
Oh,
used to
yeah.
work.
No, you
But
put
now-
Hogan putting the choke on Richard Belzer, and that got people
Oh,
talking.
my God. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. You know, I don't know.
Yes, because Vince McMahon, WWE would be sued. Oh my God, how did they not get killed for that?
I mean, that was a big settlement, wasn't it, Rush?
Yeah. It was pretty big.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, that John Stossel happened like that same year where he was smacked around by Dr. D. So yeah, it was like it was dangerous. I remember Rick Rude, like Kathy Lee was so offended by him because he was in character and he was like hitting on her.
Oh,
And
wow.
Her husband wanted to beat his ass, and she wrote about all this in her book, like that.
What a
her husband,
mark.
because her husband was what's his face, Frank Gifford.
A big, huge football Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Didn't the guy know it's a work though? Like the Gifford?
Apparently, they thought he went too far. So
I gotta watch it. I don't remember it.
Yeah, that's good. Is that on YouTube? I gotta check that out.
yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Was this WWF Rude or was this
Yeah.
WCW?
Oh, he was on there with Heenan. Yeah, it was WWF Rude with the long hair and everything.
Let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this episode, Stereo. So speaking of uncomfortable moments and breaking kayfabe, this after show we're doing every week, me and Matt Morgan on Stereo. Tonight, doing it right live after the Wrestling Inc. podcast. If you've ever wanted to yell at us, ask us questions, find out the mysteries of the unknown, of our thoughts, viewpoints, and stories from our past, you need to join us on the after show, as it were, on Stereo. And here's the link to go. Download the Stereo app for iOS or Android. Stereo is a live social conversation app where you can host your own chats, participate in other people's, or just ask questions. And we love it because we can hear from you. So when you download that app, Stereo, go to bit.ly/aftershow222. That's for tonight, February 22nd. And check it out. Ask a question, participate. Matt and I have been going...
And to put some, let me put some like a little bit of pepper in this, and to show you guys an example. You guys steer the show, right? So where you steered it one week, ended up me remembering to even tell a story about being shot playing basketball, right? You've never heard that on here because why would it come up on this show, right? We're here to talk about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and so on, right? Another example is fighting an underground fighting club when I was in Hawaii when I was in college. That wouldn't come up on here, right? So that's just like two quick hitters right there that are fascinating stories. At least the feedback was on my Twitter. You guys really enjoyed hearing stuff like that. But guys, we're not going to be able to get into those stories without having you all drive the show with asking what you may consider the most off-the-wall question, but honestly might open up Pandora's box. Not might, it has opened up Pandora's box to us answering a lot of these questions and coming up with some really cool stories that you've never heard before.
Absolutely. And if you can't make it live, you can listen to these on demand. So if you go to these links that we plug, if you follow us on Stereo, all you have to do, download that app, follow stereo.com/Matt Morgan, stereo.com/Glenn Rubenstein. You'll be notified when we go live, but then you can also listen to these shows on demand after the fact, just like you would our podcast, but it's exclusive to Stereo. We thank them for sponsoring the show, and we look forward to seeing you tonight for the after show, as it were. Or if you listen on demand, let us know what you think. We're going to keep doing these. It's been a lot of fun, and we thank Stereo for sponsoring the podcast. And Matt, you make me feel so boring because I think I lived a life, but you, with these revelations.
That's not true. You know it.
Glenn's talking about his food allergies while you're talking about getting shot.
I do not have any food
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
And they go, enter the Kumite or something to seem more interesting. Is that still a thing?
I can't
all
say
your
anything.
music stuff, and that's
Yeah,
not
that's true. No, it's good. We'll get into it tonight. We'll have some good stuff. Jackson Callan's $4.99 saying Garza should have been smacked around like a redheaded stepchild. Homeboy should have looked like a beast bell to bell.
Yes.
Right?
That sounds like a literal Matt Morgan, like verbatim quote. Hey, Matt, what'd you think of the match? That literally could be my quote.
So Randy Orton vomited black stuff out of his mouth tonight.
Boy. So, Glenn, this is where we've got to be honest. We've been pushing the hell out of Orton versus The Fiend.
Yeah.
We like it. We were hoping this would mean more for Alexa. But this is where we got to, like, where the rubber meets the road. And this is where we need to distance ourselves.
Well,
an abandoned ship. I'm running in that direction.
Well, because the thing is that I think if Alexa is there in the ring, when Alexa had the black, whatever, dripping out of her mouth, it looked demented. It looked twisted. It was furthered her character.
Yes. For a little bit, yes. But then what?
Yeah. I mean, why didn't they just have that happen and then we pan backstage and Alexa's like poking a voodoo doll or something? You know, like it was missing a little of her. Yeah.
They're recycling Papa Shango. Remember that, Matt, where the Ultimate Warrior was puking? He had the spell put on him, is puking, and then the other time he had that same black ooze coming from his head.
Forehead. Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So we're recycling Papa Shango gimmicks now.
I don't know what their plan is with this. I don't.
Cinematic match.
God, I hope.
Randy Orton taking some time off after.
Well, I mean, Raj, do we want to see a normal match? I don't. Between those two,
no, that's true too.
Plus, he's been lit on fire. P.S. Like we've seen it all.
You could actually do some really crazy shit if they gave it the same treatment. Like Cena, that was like, I mean, that was art. Elevated. That was a deconstruction of Cena. It was like a roast. It was at the same time. I mean, with Randy, you could really do some interesting stuff if they went no holds barred. Like, let's analyze Randy Orton.
Oh, but that's not what that story is going to tell, unfortunately.
No, it's about fire and magic and ooze.
I know.
It is going to be that, but it's a good point though, Raj. He's saying though, because Randy would have a hell of a story for them to dissect. And go back to his early days in WWE, you know, thinking he's God's gift to women backstage and everybody else, and some of his antics. Like, that'd be pretty.
Yeah. I want Bray in a cowboy hat, imitating his dad.
But Cena was more out of necessity because I guess he couldn't take bumps. I don't know how they were going to do a normal match before the pandemic. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what he didn't. He only took that one move.
I mean, John. No offense, John Cena. That's like your best match, dude, in the last like 5 years, besides Daniel Bryan and AJ.
God, it's weird to think that hasn't even been a year. That feels like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That WrestleMania with no fans and the shows at the Performance Center. Jeez.
And that's the challenge with Bray, where they have to do something like this because you can't have Bobby now. No hocus pocus, no tricks. Bobby just looking like pure rage, anger. Athleticism on display. Bray Wyatt doesn't look that scary anymore if we're just talking physicality and in-ring aggression. You know?
He still can. I mean, go again, I keep bringing this up. Go back and watch his that first appearance with Finn Balor, and he just looked like a wrecking machine. And there's no magic, no pink lighting. It was just him just being a steamroller.
There was a red light, wasn't there?
No.
Really?
Yeah, that Finn Balor, that first SummerSlam match, there was no special lighting or anything.
They did end up doing it, but it's not in that match.
Right.
George Devine, $5 saying, just watch the Wink interview with Carlito. Good watch, Raj. Can we get an interview with Bam Neely next in honor of his appreciation night last week?
I wouldn't even know what to ask him.
Hey, did you check out the podcast Friday?
Yeah, like, seriously. Yes, that's what we started.
Ethan Kaufman, $5 saying Lashley versus Roman eventually could be a huge match if both keep being dominant. Also, please to God, leave Rhea Ripley alone. You can't mess this up. Oh, yes, they can.
Well, Ethan, you
they already did once.
You said the kiss of death that last sentence. I wish you could delete that. You put it in the.
Think about that. Think about that, Matt. How many times over the last 5 years on this pod, well, 4.5. We've said someone's coming from NXT. They can't mess this one up. It's perfect. It writes itself.
Oh my God! Especially now, I always go back to Nakamura.
Yeah.
Gift wrapped with a bow on it and everything. Here you go, Vince. Merry Christmas. Stay the F out of the way.
Nakamura,
couldn't help himself.
Yeah. Bobby Roode, Finn Balor, American Alpha.
Joe. American Alpha, yeah. As a tag team, yes.
Yeah. AOP,
yep.
King Rail 999 saying, I thought Shane was about to pull a Teddy Long. Enjoyed tonight's show. People could say what they want about The Miz, but he holds my attention when he speaks.
Sure,
nice change of pace from Drew.
Yeah. Of course he does. He screams like normally he does. He screams champion. As how he talks, how he acts, like I said, how he dresses, everything across the board. Miz is a 10 in my opinion. But again, it has to be in the proper context that we're talking here. In this context, he has not been booked that way. Raj has the end-all be-all, which is, hey guys, P.S. He's won one match.
Right,
like,
one singles match, yeah.
One singles match. Like, so come on.
Sean Wiley, $5, saying, what the hell, Pentagram? Randy Orton oozing oil out his mouth. All we needed tonight was Alexa Bliss head turning 360 like The Exorcist.
Pentagram Randy Orton. Yeah.
This angle is just jumping. Matt, to your point, this angle is jumping the shark because they've dragged it on for too long, and they've been phoning it in the last 3 weeks.
They have. There's a little bit of flavor there with her on the swing set, if you remember.
Yeah.
The first time, that was it. From that moment on, that's when this thing started to die a very fast death.
Yeah. Chris Pantaleo, $4.99, saying the story is Orton should have been quote unquote fired lots of times when he was younger. So now they'll set each other on fire instead. Michael Sachs Jr., $5, saying, I know this is off topic. What was your thought, Matt, when Hulk came out in WCW with Hell's Angels? And Matt, where was you when that happened? Love the podcast.
The Hell's Angels.
Didn't he do that like when he was with NWO? They like escorted him out to the ring, I remember. And it was
Sturgis?
It was like other NWO guys too, though. Just another cool, like we said the other night, what is sizzle? That's sizzle.
Yeah.
You know, pomp and circumstance, as it were. Oh, look at that, Glenn. Look at that usage of it.
And that's when Bischoff back in the day, he would really try out of the box stuff and really try to, you know, whether it was doing Nitro at the beach or, you know, at the bike rally or, you know, just.
I always appreciate it, man. I always appreciate it. I really did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Charlotte accidentally kicked Asuka in the face during their tag match against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler tonight, leading to Nia and Shayna getting the win. Yeah. What do you think of this for sort of an inciting incident to break the two of them up?
So is this the Mania match, Raj?
That's what it was supposed to be, Lacey and Charlotte, but now it's looking like Charlotte and Asuka.
It'll be a great match, obviously, right? Am I spoiled by saying like I've seen it before though? Because
I mean, that's what it just doesn't feel special. I get what you mean.
And Charlotte's been such a champion so many times already. There's nothing there. I'm like, oh yeah, Charlotte's gonna win a championship again. Like I don't get that feeling if she wins a championship. Or if Asuka holds on to it, I'm like, yay, Asuka held on to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hope they're not adding Nia to this because now it's back-to-back nights. She pinned the SmackDown Women's Champion and then the Raw Women's Champion.
I pray not. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't see it, but I hope not because those are two big wins. Then they usually don't do that for no reason.
Ugh. Good point.
Yeah, I don't know. But it does feel like a repeat just having this. It does. Mm-hmm. And less special because it's happened before. No stakes, no story.
And it seems too soon to put Rhea back in there, and I'd hate for them to put Rhea in there and her not win. Yeah. And just kind of just sputter again.
I think unless you have Rhea beat Asuka, that would be making a huge statement, launching a new star.
Yeah. I thought they should have done that last night. I thought they should, have Lacey come out, say she has a higher gun. Actually, it's better without Lacey, just to have a surprise opponent, and it's Rhea, and she wins a dominant match, and then you see Asuka trying to regain her killer instinct and want to get back to the top.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus tonight. Sheamus got the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine.
What do you think of this, though? Is there still more plans for, you know what it is? Sheamus, Drew after Mania, I bet.
You think after? I was thinking Fastlane.
A throwaway pay-per-view. Oh, that could be too.
Because
Drew's going to need a match.
Yeah, we got that coming up in a month. And so I did find out Fastlane is going to be on both the network and Peacock for people in the US. And so they're still going to be doing the transition, and it should be complete by WrestleMania. So WrestleMania will be the first pay-per-view exclusively on Peacock.
Oh.
So what does that mean? Does that mean my WWE app will not work anymore?
Right, yeah.
Ugh.
Well, at least the network part. You know, they have the other sections in the app. But yeah.
Oh, that's true. Well, but like on smart TVs, though, it's just the
right. Yeah, it'll
TV stuff. And what synergy tonight, having the stars of the Punky Brewster reboot zooming in into the Thunderdome.
Is the original Punky Brewster, is that on Peacock?
Yes, it is.
I was kind of thinking about showing it to my daughters, see if they like it.
We wanted to watch the episode where they did hide and seek in the refrigerator, and Sherry was in the refrigerator.
Ah, that's a scary. I remember that one. That was scary.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so funny. We all remember that.
Right, yeah. Wasn't there one where there was some haunted idol or something? Or am I thinking of the Brady Bunch when they were
Brady Bunch for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
All I know is when I watched Punky Brewster, and I've only watched a few episodes now, it's never my favorite show, but that Allen kid was a dick. Like, probably the biggest sitcom jerk.
I don't know.
Like, that's a very bold statement there, Glenn.
No, I'm saying Eddie Haskell was charming. Jason Bateman on Silver Spoons was kind of smart alecky and funny. That Allen kid was just a pure, like I remember as a kid, like, you know, you just want to punch him. There's nothing redeeming about it.
So here's the thing. Eddie Haskell wins by default because our bad friends as little kids was called Eddie Haskell.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm saying Eddie Haskell is redeeming. Eddie Haskell is a complicated character. Like, I like Eddie Haskell.
Speaking of dicks on TV shows, can you believe that there was a character named Boner in the 80s?
Boner's to Bone, of course.
Boner's to Bone, yeah. And his dad's name was Sylvester. I always remember that. Sylvester Stallone.
Wait,
anyway. So
your dad's name is Sylvester. Yes. Do you remember that?
And then he goes, "Who knew?"
The late great Andrew Koenig, may he rest in peace.
I did not know he passed away.
Yeah, it's an old thing. I'll tell you off the air about Kirk Cameron's
real quick. This is it. This is what I was thinking of. Chris Pantaleo saying Punky went into a cave and there was a giant spider. Yes.
Oh, okay, good job.
What? Vicky the robot was a Vicky the robot was a dick. Small Wonder.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that show is so terrible.
Vader was on there once, right? Or that's Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World.
There were wrestlers on Small Wonder once. Anyway.
I mean, there was wrestling on all, and you know, it's typically the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. That, like, they were on We Got It Made, they were on Married with Children, like they made the rounds of the sitcoms.
Yeah.
Farmer's Daughter was super popular.
Did you watch Learning the Ropes with Lyle Alzado, where he's the wrestler? He was
I've
a wrestler.
Got the entire series downloaded.
Yeah, there you go.
King Rail 499 saying I could see almost helping Shane win at Mania. I thought something was set up the way Shane looked at him last week.
I like him with AJ. I wouldn't be changing that because Shane's not full time, and him and AJ, they got something.
He's going to continue to improve watching AJ live like that too.
Yeah.
Sean Wiley saying Punky Brewster, you Glenn and Matt, born in 76. Soleil Moon Frye was born in 76, I believe.
She went to CU Boulder out here.
Very interesting. Yeah. Naomi and Lana versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, with Lana and Naomi getting a pretty easy win.
Me, it's nothing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Naomi get the win. It was quick.
I like all of these women. I think that there could be a story here. This just felt like a filler match.
It was a filler.
It was.
Yeah. Speaking of which, AJ Styles versus Ricochet. This was random.
But I was excited for it. Just because of the once the bell would ring, I know I'd be into the match.
Right. You knew who was winning going in, but you knew it was going to be entertaining the whole way through, and it was what it was supposed to be. AJ getting a win, looking good, but still entertaining. That knee at the end that AJ hit. I don't know if he messed up or, man, that looked brutal.
It did, dude. His work has gotten so much more snug, and like his punches too. His punches have really improved since going to WWE.
Yeah, he's even said in the past, like Vince basically told him, like he wants to see that pit bull and he wants to see that pit bull come out. And
I remember him saying that in interviews. I'm like, AJ's not a pit bull. Right. This is a God-fearing, like super nice, super friendly, beyond cordial's not even the word. Like just, I'm not gonna say howdy doody, but just super squeaky clean. He is as squeaky clean as it gets. Mm-hmm. And like I'm like, pit bull? He's never been in a, like. No, I was wrong because it did work. He got very aggressive, and his offense changed.
Right. Yeah, 10 years ago, you couldn't see him. Like, him and Roman would not look right. Like, it just... No. But now it's totally believable. Like, he's managed to make himself that believable, like, tough.
Yeah, yes, there's a level of toughness that he's added there, no question.
Yeah. Didn't Ricochet lose to AJ, like, a month ago? Like that was a Rumble qualifier match?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, Ricochet has pinned AJ early, very, very early on when Ricochet first came to TV.
It's back when they believed in him.
Which that made no sense. Like, it wasn't like Ricochet had to beat AJ to go into the Rumble, and he couldn't beat him, and then he was in the Rumble anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Rich Antonio 499 saying Mandy felt like a bigger deal on SmackDown as the Golden Goddess. She's gotten lost in the shuffle since being on Raw. It's done nothing for her.
I agree.
Last year, her and Otis were like a hot item. Like that was a hot story. It was just botched to no end, both of them. And look, Tucker. She turned on him, and they have done absolutely nothing with that guy.
And do you think they broke up that storyline? Because they're like, no, we've got better things. We've got better things for both of them.
No. Or they just served its purpose, right? They went pretty long.
A lot of times they just split stuff up just to do it and see what happens, and then nothing happens.
But then there's other things that they just run into the ground for a year at a time.
Yeah,
it's true.
I don't know. I'm just saying that like that could have probably gone a bit longer. Jacoby Wright 499 saying I thought Lashley should have kept the U.S. title and challenged Drew to a title match at Mania with Lashley winning both titles.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that only if everything else that Bobby has done so far still happens, meaning he still beats Braun. He still big dogs Miz like he did tonight on the mic like that. All that stuff that he's done over the last couple of weeks has really made him super believable.
I just figured it out. Okay, so Braun. So we're at the main event, Braun versus Bobby. If Braun won this, he would have been in a triple threat with Bobby and The Miz for the title next week. Bobby won, dominated. Miz attacked. Why did Miz attack Lashley? That made no sense after. Like, I see my moment. Your moment to do what? Runs in there and then gets slammed down by Lashley. But Braun's going to interfere next week. Then Braun gets in trouble. That sets up Braun versus Shane.
Why would Miz attack him? Simply because he wants to injure Bobby, so Bobby's not going into his match at full capacity next week.
Yeah, he wants to beat him down. And
but in what world? In what world?
In his world. I mean, that's why
in his
mind.
Okay, but Braun interferes next week. That's how they get out of it.
Get out of what?
That's how they extend.
We do not want this to be extended.
You don't think Lashley, Balls of Fire?
I think Lashley beats him.
He's got to win now.
I think Lashley beats him. Drew comes out after the match, lays out Lashley maybe, and there you go. That's your Mania match.
Yeah, but you got Great Balls of Fire before then.
You mean Fastlane?
Fastlane, sorry. Where did that come from? No idea. We got Great Balls of Fire because it's 2017. No, we've got Fastlane before then.
And that always do Lashley defending against The Miz or defending, maybe. And that way you give Lashley a win too before he goes on to Drew.
Ooh, I think the Fastlane needs to be hot because of Peacock.
I mean, WrestleMania, you guys, is sold already. I mean, it's its own brand, it's its own gimmick, it's its own brand.
I almost think they don't want Fastlane to be hot because they want to make sure, work out all the kinks before WrestleMania.
So they're going to say, please, no one watch this pay-per-view. We really can't handle.
Well,
more than
already
1,000
it's not
people.
exclusively on Peacock. Already it's on both. So, yeah.
There you go. Jared Wilson, AJ Styles versus Christian would be a good WrestleMania match.
It wouldn't be bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. Sergio Cadenas saying Ricochet's in the same boat as Gable. I think Ricochet's doing better than Gable right now.
Well, they just turned Gable and Otis heel, so at least they're giving him something. I don't know.
There you have it. What else we got, Rush?
Anna Jay, unfortunately, she's injured, and she's going to be out like 6 to 12 months. And
I saw that on Being the Elite.
Yeah, it really sucks. She's because she, this looked like it was going to be her year. She's really, has been kind of like breaking out. So, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Who's the other girl that's in the group now with them?
Ty Conti. She was in NXT.
She's got some breakout star in her a little bit too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's got something. But that sucks for Anna Jay. I think every wrestling fan loves Anna Jay because she came out of nowhere,
Yeah. Oh, we forgot about. Oh, sorry.
And she's just very good.
Yeah, we've totally forgot to mention the Voloida Perfanov saying, "Don't forget the great backstage segment with Charlotte and Rick."
Yeah. Sorry about that. So this was interesting. It didn't feel like there was a real resolution there. I mean, Rick saying that he was trying to expand the brand by working with Lacey, and Charlotte being sort of upset about his antics, but this felt like just sort of a weak write-off.
Well, I mean, Lacey's pregnant legitimately, so they kind of nixed the fact that they threw out that Rick's even possibly the father. They got rid of that. They basically ditched the Rick and Lacey angle. I thought this was Charlotte's best promo work in a long time. I thought this was the best segment between Rick and Charlotte. It felt the most real like that they've had when they've been doing months and months of it's kind of phony stuff with the Lacey aspect. So right. I thought this was really good. I'm curious where they go from here.
I just feel like they've done this before.
I'm very stoked for Lacey and her family, obviously, right? Yeah. That's a badass mom right there, an amazing mom. But at the same time, like I was excited for her as a fan to finally get this match. Mm-hmm. And not with the Flair crap, but her versus,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Joshua Taylor, $1.99 super chat saying, "Thanks for all you guys do. You guys are awesome. Thank you."
Thanks, Josh Taylor.
Thank you.
And then Terry Allen Jr. saying, "Our heroes rock a new show. Big E's involved."
Yeah, the Kickstarter thing he's doing.
Yeah, what? I don't have that info in front of me.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I'll tell you in a second. Let me Google this.
While you're doing that, NXT for fans in Canada, starting this Wednesday, it's going to be airing live on Sportsnet 360 and SNL. So now AEW and NXT are going to be head-to-head in Canada, too. Because up until now, Canadian fans had to wait a day for the network.
Oh, really? When would it come on?
When it's on the network, so the following day. So.
I don't know that.
This is cool. Okay, so Big E and artist Jonathan Davenport are doing a show celebrating Black heroes. It's going to be animated, called Our Heroes Rock. And the idea was, what if we did Schoolhouse Rock for important Black figures?
Yes. Friggin' genius. Dude, think about when we were kids. That always connected.
Yeah.
That always connected. The music to it was great as well. Like when I was a kid, I thought so at least. That's genius, whoever came up with that idea.
Absolutely. This sounds really cool. I'm looking forward to this.
Some big news breaking. Alexa Bliss reacts to Randy Orton coughing up black liquid on Raw. So, if you guys care, she reacted on Twitter just asking, "You okay, Randy?" So, big storyline there.
Oh, man.
Raj, really? You cut off our Schoolhouse Rock discussion for this? Less than 3 is the magic number. Talk about I'm just a bill, it's going to be good.
You obviously did not know that was what she was going to say. Glenn, this is further reason why we need to continue this 40-yard dash sprint away from this storyline and defending it.
I know.
We've got to quit it.
I mean, they're just. I think they have an idea for Mania. They'll just all of this filler in between is derailing it. It's really
Man.
Yeah. Jackson Callan's $4.99 real quick saying Tony Khan recently inviting WWE to come on over. Doubt it will ever happen. Your thoughts on Khan overall and also where this Impact stuff is going.
Time out. What does it mean? Come on over.
So he said, because as far as they're working with other companies and, they ask, what about WWE? And he's like, oh, yeah, WWE, come on over to Jacksonville. Obviously, it's never going to happen. But
please tell me fans didn't really bite on that. Yeah. Are they believing it's going to happen?
And I'm sure there's some out there. I'm sure most people don't, for sure. Okay. Impact, I mean, you kind of see where it's going. It's kind of been nothing. I don't know. It hasn't really. I feel like AEW doesn't feel like it has as much buzz as it did a few months ago.
Can I ask you a question, Raj? You do this for a living. You cover the business and stuff. You talk with the fans as well. What was the feedback about Tommy Dreamer versus Rich Swann?
Gosh, I'm like forget. That was the last. That was Impact No Surrender, right? Last month. I believe
so.
I didn't hear much about it. I mean, Tommy Dreamer jacked up his finger. I know he said he's kind of done with those kind of matches, but I mean, it's like the only match people seem to care about on that. That was, I believe, that was Private Party, right, where they faced the Good Brothers and I'm gonna say James Storm and someone.
What's his name? From Motor City Machine Guns. Come on. That should be the title at one point. Not Shelley. Sabin.
Sabin, yeah.
Yeah, man. That was a really good match, actually. But Tommy looked... I was wincing for him every part of that match.
Yeah.
Taking crazy risks that he shouldn't be taking. Man. That's Tommy, though. That's what he does.
Yeah. Thoughts on Khan? I mean, I think he's bringing jobs to people in the business and providing an alternative. So I think that's great.
I think if he's going to do a come on over promo, he needs to do his version of Suge Knight's come on over to Death Row promo from the mid '90s. So I think that'll really.
I thought you were going to say Jack Tripper, like Three's Company theme song.
Come and knock on our door. No, I think Aleister Black really ran that into the ground. You remember that Suge Knight promo? What was that at the Source Awards where he just like dissed out Puffy?
Oh yes, you got your. What do you say when you got your?
You got your manager dancing in
your video.
Dancing in the video.
Yep.
There's a good parallel with the McMahons.
Yeah. And Snoop cutting a promo there too.
Oh, that's Source Awards. That's like
you don't got no love for Snoop,
right?
You got no love for West Coast. That was all such a shoot. It was like real. Yeah. Why again? Our rap was way better than this generation's.
It's hard to argue.
It's true. What else we got? We got a couple minutes here.
Yeah, I mean, Shaq's going to be wrestling here in a few. Like, I feel like I've heard nothing with Shaq. Like, it seems ice cold. I don't know if it gets turned up on that last week, but I don't know about this one.
No matter what, gets them a quick another TNT plug on their NBA show, and probably SportsCenter.
It's a weird time right now, right? I mean, TV ratings are just crazy. What people want to watch, what people want to see. I don't know.
It is weird, when you talk about ratings being down, and it is so many people. The viewing habits are shifting, and I think cable numbers are inflated in a lot of ways because I know I have Xfinity. Do you guys have Xfinity?
I do.
If you want the internet, you have to have the TV. They throw it on for free, so that keeps the cable rates high. Yeah, that keeps the cable subscriptions high.
I don't get that. Maybe I think I might even pay extra to not have TV because there's some hidden surcharge with the box. So you literally can pay extra to not have that.
So today I just renewed for a year, and it's just completely free, no box. They send you the box for free, at least the deal that I got, but they won't let you do the internet without it. It's like included, so it keeps their cable numbers up. But I think cable's dying, and streaming's rising.
Yeah.
Well, and look at this tonight. I mean, they're showing Young Rock after Monday Night Raw. Like, networks don't matter anymore. So, and there's so much corporate synergy going on with people that have crossovers and ownership that your time slot doesn't matter. Live TV doesn't matter. YouTube clips, DVR viewing. I mean, it's hard to really tell what gets people talking anymore. You know?
Well, it seems like it's streaming shows. You hear like the shows with buzz. It's like Cobra Kai and
True.
Shows
Stuff
on Netflix.
Yeah.
WandaVision, most watched show in the world right now.
Yeah, WandaVision,
So I at least
Mandalorian.
attempted to start it. I conked out Glenn, but my wife to wake up going, "What the hell are you watching?"
Oh yeah, and it gets
like,
even
Glenn-
more so.
Like, Glenn says this is really good, and so do a lot of other people. So we're gonna stick this out.
So I'm so afraid of being spoiled by something. I'm staying up. I'm at midnight. I'm trying to watch it right away. And last weekend, so many people did that. Disney Plus went down. It crashed the server. So many people trying to watch a new episode right when it dropped at like 12:01 a.m., which is crazy.
Yeah, see, that's where all the buzz is right now. Hey, we could throw this to all of us. Your favorite Tupac song? For me, it's Hail Mary or All Eyes on Me. I think.
Both great choices. I Get Around, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say, because Digital Underground.
I really like that video. Humpty was in it, right? Yeah, Digital Underground.
Money B? Yeah. Well, he wasn't Humpty. He was Shock G in the video.
Shock G.
Now, many people still, their mind is blown when you point out that Shock G and Humpty Hump are the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not aware. But I think Hit 'Em Up is still fantastic.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes.
That was a Suge Diss song, right?
No, Biggie.
I mean Biggie, sorry.
Biggie with that. Yeah.
I mean, that was just raw. I mean, in terms of diss tracks, that was... I mean, think about like Kumo D and LL and the disses we saw before, and then, I mean, Pac just spitting straight fire.
Dude, his first frigging line was, "I bleeped your wife." Oh my goodness. Just straight. Oh my God.
Get into it.
Right into it.
89, the brainchild saying, Shock G, the king of rap kayfabe. Man, I love Digital Underground. Digital Underground is so good.
What was the movie they were in? What was that?
They were in Nothing But Trouble with Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, and Demi Moore.
There you
and
go.
the video, same song. That was Pac's debut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lots of Tupac references in the chat. All right. Well, I think that's about it on the wrestling. We covered a lot last night. Kind of wild that a year ago Lashley was losing to Aleister Black at WrestleMania, and
right
now he's heading.
I was thinking about that tonight. Yeah.
He's heading to the main event.
He's where he's supposed to be finally. So
yeah, that's good, man. Okay, so here's the deal, folks. We're wrapping up here, but the party keeps going. Matt Morgan and I are heading over to Stereo. Probably start, maybe we'll start a little early. I don't know, Matt, if you need a break, if you need to eat something, drink something, use the bathroom. There was a chat room comment that asked if you were on a stakeout, which I think is my favorite comment about Matt doing the podcast from his car. But we'll get the full story on that. Sean Hunter, $2 wants to know, hey, Raj, you're going to the Weekends tour in 2022.
Maybe.
Follow him on tour with the Grateful Dead. Okay, so download that Stereo app, follow Matt Morgan, follow Glenn Rubenstein, and go to bit.ly/aftershow222. You're going to get notification when we go live, so stand by your phone. Maybe we'll start a few minutes early. You'll be notified. Yeah. We thank Stereo for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. And if you are listening on a delay or later, don't sleep on this. Don't think, oh, I wasn't there live, I don't want to check it out. You need to go and listen to these. They're great. They're informative, and everybody's been loving it. We're having a great time doing it. So thanks to Stereo. Thanks to you all for tuning in tonight. And we're going to catch you on the after show in a few minutes. And then, of course, Wednesday night here for AEW and NXT coverage. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.